Hi everyone, I wanted to do a video regarding trig identities and solving trig equations. All right, so let's get to it. Number one is, first of all, the sine of 3x is equal to -1/2. So what we have to do is we have to find the sine of x that equals -1/2. Okay, and if you look at a unit circle, okay, where is the, I guess -1/2? -1/2 would be here, right? Or here, right here, right? So let's try this one here. So -1/2, this would be what, pi over 6 here. So this at this mark would be the 7 pi over 6 mark. Okay, right? Because this is where negative sine is equal to -1/2. All right. So what you do is you make 3x then equal to um 7 pi over 6. Right? And you divide both sides by 3. So what happens here is, should make more space here. So it'll be 7 pi over 18. Okay. And then you're going to add the 2 pi r, right? But remember, you're going to divide that by 3. So it's going to be over 3 it's going to be over 3 because you're dividing everything by 3 here. All right. So that's the first answer. And the second answer would be, if you look here, this is what, 11 pi over 6. Okay. And so you do the same thing here. You make 3x equal to 11 pi over 6. Divide both sides by 3. X is equal to 11 pi over 18, right? And then you make that, and then that's what, 11 pi over 18 plus 2 pi r over 3. Right, so those are your two answers. Okay, and then if you want to keep it in within the interval of 2 pi, right? It would be what? It would be 7 pi over 18, right? 11 pi over 18, right? And then you just put in this is not r, this is n. So you plug in, you just keep adding 2/3 to this, 2 over 3 pi to this, and to this until you hit the 2 pi mark. So that will be 19 pi over 18 and 23 pi over 18. Okay, so again, if you make n1, right, add 2/3 to this, to the 7 pi over 18, add 1 to this, you'll get, and you'll get the 19 pi over 18 and the 23 pi over 18. All right. So those are your 4 answers for that. Cool. All right, number 2 here, we have 2 cosine x. Let me write this over here. 2 cosine x squared x minus 3 cosine x plus 1. And notice that this is kind of a trinomial here, and there's a squared. So you may want to replace the, let's say, y for, let's not do y, let's do like k for cosine x. And the reason why is because we have a squared here in the first term. So let's just do 2k squared minus 3k plus 1 is equal to 0. I'll factor it out first, right? So it'll be 2 and -3, two numbers that multiply into the 2, add up to -3, it'd be -2 and -1. Then you put the 2 over both, right? Because you have an a of 1. So it'll be 1 over -1, and you'll be 2 over -1. Once you do that, this is what? K minus 1 and 2k minus 1. And then you're going to replace the cosine x with the k. So it'll be cosine x minus 1 and 2 cosine x minus 1. You make them both equal to 0. So cosine x is equal to 1, right? Whereas cosine equal to 1, that is at 0, right? And 2 pi, right? And then whereas cosine equal to, this is cosine x equal to, you add 1, divide the 2, be 1/2. And cosine x is, cosine is equal to 1/2 at, is it pi over 3? And let's see here, it's 3 pi over 2 plus, would it be 5 pi over 3? Right, and those are your those 4 answers, right? And I think the interval may be like something like this, where it says this and 2 pi and parentheses, so maybe 2 pi won't be what the answer. So it depends on where the interval is asking for. Okay. Number 2, cosine times cosecant times, let's see here, cosine times cosecant equals, and you're just verifying the identity here. This one's straightforward because it's just what, cosine x times 1 over sine x, right? If you multiply these together, it's cosine x over sine x, which is equal to cotangent x, right? Cool. Number 9, you just have to use the sum identity for cosine. So this will be cosine, remember this is a plus b is equal to cosine a cosine b minus sine a sine b. So if you use this, it would be cosine theta cosine pi over 2 minus sine theta sine pi over 2, right? Cosine of pi over 2 is 0. So no matter what cosine theta is, that's going to be 0 minus sine of pi over 2 is 1 times sine theta, right? So 0 minus sine theta times 1 is just negative sine theta, and we have proven this right here. Okay. Number 3 is you have sine A equaling 4 over 5, cosine B is equal to 5 over 13, and you have to use that half angle identity here, okay? And so that half angle identity is the square root of 1 plus cosine B all over 2, right? And so you just plug in the 1 plus 5 over 13 all over 2, because that's what B is right here. Cosine B is right here. Okay, in between. And we know that there should be a plus or minus. We know that what it's between 0 and pi over 2. So we know that this is going to be a plus because the interval of cosine is positive. So we solve this out here pretty much. So it would be 13 over 13 plus 5 over 13 all over 2, which is 18 over 13 all over 2, which is equal to 18 over 26, because again, you multiply by 1/2. You get the square roots of 18 over the square root of 26, right? And that is equal to what? 3 radical 2 over radical 26. You could simplify here. This is going to be 3 over radical 13, and then just rationalize the 13. And so this is what? 3 radical 13 over 13. Okay. All right. And last but not least, solve each equation, and on the interval 0 to 2 pi, tangent secant equals, remember you're solving, you're not identifying, so you're not trying to make it, you're not using one side to make it equal to the other side, you're using both sides of the equation here. So you're going to subtract the 3 tan x to both sides. So it becomes tan x secant x minus 3 tan x is equal to 0. Factor out the tan x, and you get secant x minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, so you're going to make tan x equal to 0, and you're going to make secant x minus 3 equal to 0, just like how you factor, right? And tan x equaling 0, where is tangent equal to 0? It's where the sine is 0, but the cosine is 1, right? So if you look at the unit circle, the sine of 0, so that would be at 0 and pi, right? Within this range, right? Because the 90 degree and if it's pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2, that's undefined. Okay, so sine over cosine, so it'll be 0 and pi, and then this is whereas you add 3 to both sides, whereas secant x equal to 3, you could also do cosine x is equal to 1 over 3. And if you do that in your calculator, you're going to get x is approximately 1.23 and 5.0522. Okay. Good luck to all of you. Enjoy your day. Have a good one.